It's official. ITV's Golden Girl has lost her crown. Is this the beginning of the end for Holly Willoughby? Detailing her fall from grace, the Daily Mail reports that the once undisputed Golden Girl of daytime television is losing favour among viewers, after This Morning was booed by the audience at the NTAs for the second year in a row. But could Holly Willoughby be battling a much bigger problem? Could she be hiding a personal struggle that, if she's not careful, could quickly escalate and spiral out of control? More on that later in this video. It's reported that such is the negativity surrounding Holly and her cringeworthy comeback, there's been a big dip in This Morning's ratings. Monday's program received just 565,000 viewers, a loss of 171,000 from Friday's show, which bagged 736,000. But Holly didn't seem too worried by the ratings drop-off, telling Mail Online she just wants the future to continue as it is. But whether that future comes to pass is not down to her or any of her co-hosts. Instead, it is down to the viewers, many of whom have become disillusioned by the show and its attempts to distract from claims of a toxic culture. Holly, who has been dubbed the Queen Bee of This Morning, used to be the crown jewel in ITV's schedule, but with her popularity severely on the wane, how long will she be able to keep This Morning's head above water and indeed her own? Determined, though, to bury their heads in the sand and disregard the views of the public, whom they apparently call tower block traces, ITV are obliviously ploughing ahead, insisting on shoving Holly Willoughby and her gormless grin down our throats at every available opportunity. Why? After increasing her wages by £300,000 to £1 million, perhaps they are hell-bent on getting their money's worth, even if it's to their own detriment. And that could backfire on them spectacularly. It has now even been said that ITV are sounding Holly out about hosting a raft of new shows, as if we haven't seen enough of her already. Apparently keen to bulk up her roster alongside This Morning and Dancing on Ice. According to an insider, her team are having a number of conversations including new primetime shows. Either they have lost the plot entirely or they are making subtle moves to ditch her from This Morning and palm her off somewhere else. The mind truly boggles. A source said, Holly loves This Morning. She sees her future very much on the sofa and is not going anywhere. But she is always keen to listen about any new ideas and opportunities, particularly in prime time, to coexist along her daytime role. The BBC is also keen to work with her again. Perhaps it could be said that Holly is covering all of her bases, keeping those sticky mittens of hers firmly in all pies, on the off chance that the cracks in her pedestal turn into ravines. Yes, it has to be said, it's been a rough old few years for Holly Willoughby, with the slippery slope appearing in front of her very eyes when she was embroiled in the Q-Gate scandal when it appeared she and Phillip skipped the long wait at the late Queen's funeral. And today, with the increasing pressure on Holly Willoughby to deliver the goods and save the ailing show, together with strains of the fallout with her ex-bestie Phillip Schofield, plus the upcoming independent investigation results looming over her like a dark cloud, could the stress of it all become, well, too much? Looking more and more thin, fragile and fidgety by the day, the signs of extreme stress are already beginning to show. But could there be another private problem adding to her troubles? Is it possible that Holly Willoughby may be turning to booze to get her through this difficult time in her life? Deciding to investigate further, BLINKERHOLE discovered that it was not very hard at all to discover page after page after page of headlines regarding Holly's alleged drinking habits, going back years, and some of them make for rather sad reading. It's not the easiest topic to address. There's nothing wrong with letting your hair down every now and then, enjoying a glass of wine or two with friends, unless it starts to affect other areas of your life. One can imagine it would be difficult to juggle a love of partying with live TV presenting on a family-oriented show and being seen as somewhat of a role model with an ability to influence many people. Not long ago, during his interview with Dan Wootton, Eamon Holmes blasted Holly and Phil for their drunken antics on This Morning after the NTAs in 2016. He said, they have been allowed to turn up the next day advocating the use of drink or something else, I don't know, and sit on a couch, like, I'm so drunk, I haven't been to bed, whatever. And yet ITV, the legacy of Ant McPartlin, lovely fellow who was in a driving accident where people were injured when he was under the influence of drink. And yet they can promote that. Calling out the broadcaster's hypocrisy, Eamon revealed that he and his wife were prevented from advertising chocolate because it's poisonous. He added, these are rules for one and rules for another. Does that make me bitter? Maybe it does. They come in doing their drunk act. It's either an act, in which case it's false, or they are drunk and it should not be allowed. This year, things were noticeably different, with Holly Willoughby making a point of revealing why she wasn't feeling worse for wear after this year's NTAs. She said that her lilac ball gown was so tight she could not go to the bathroom, which forced her to limit her drinks. She laughed. "I'm oversharing too much right now, but I'm just going to tell you the truth, and I couldn't pull it up to go for AP." Is that the truth, or had she been given a warning not to make a repeat performance of her drunken antics with Phillip Schofield and risk some unsavory headlines, ones which could just about topple her and ITV This Morning altogether? Just in our own opinion, of course. This year, Holly had a much more low-key night out at London's O2 Arena instead, heading off for a burger at the end of the ceremony, rather than partying the night away. She made it very clear that she only risked having a small drink at the event, saying, "So I was like nil by mouth. I had like half a glass of Prosecco, I think, and that was it." Holly then joked about avoiding a hangover as she looked fresh-faced, yet it wasn't long until she had a margarita in her hand, announcing, "I'd normally be like, how dare you bring that in the night after the NTAs, but I'm almost tucking into this immediately," and teased that she was planning to have a belated boozy night that evening instead, excitedly saying, "So, tonight." Last year, it was reported that Holly Willoughby has built up a star-studded girl squad over the years and loves nothing more than a boozy day out with her very famous girl pals, including 90s pop stars and an EastEnders icon. They include best pals Emma Bunton, Tamsin Outhwaite, Nicole Appleton, Fern Cotton and Ciara Bell, and Holly was pictured on a day sesh with Nicole, Oasis frontman Liam Gallagher's ex-wife, and Ciara Bell, who is married to the band's former guitarist Andy Bell. Need we say more? Oh, let's. The gal pals predicted what would be on the cards before their session, sharing a video of them singing that they would be hungover. It began with Ciara leaning forward in her seat, singing, "I'm gonna be hungover," turning the camera towards Holly, wearing a cream crocheted cardigan, then chimed in, repeating the line in a tuneful voice. The song continued with All Saints star Nicole adding, "I'm gonna drink a bunch of different drinks," before the three leaned in together, with Holly raising her hand in the air as they finished. "And I'm gonna be hungover." Holly, who started her career in children's television, much like her former bestie Phillip Schofield, once revealed that children's presenters have a very different persona on and off screen. In fact, Holly admitted she once got so drunk that she was sick on live TV. In an interview, she even said she used to go straight to the studio from the hotel bar. The This Morning star was a host on ITV's Saturday morning children's show Ministry of Mayhem, which is where she met her husband Dan Baldwin in 2004. She said that after one particularly heavy night, she vomited on air, and on another occasion her bits popped out of her dress. She told the magazine she eventually had to tone down her wild antics after it just got bonkers. She explained, "There were times when we went straight from the hotel bar to going live on air. Everyone in children's TV drinks until 5 a.m. If you mess up, no one cares." But some reports on Holly Willoughby's alleged drinking habits are even more concerning, after it was reported that she once revealed she almost died following the birth of her third child after indulging in too much tequila in 2014, during a boozy lunch with Phillip Schofield. But Holly admits to not remembering much of what happened, saying, "So, I'd had a belly of raw fish and then, Phillip made me drink margaritas and I don't remember much else. It's actually put me off tequila. I haven't really been able to drink it since. He broke me." It seems though, that she has recovered from that hatred of margaritas. And worryingly, in an article we found from 2017, the headline reads, "Holly Willoughby admits to drinking liters of vodka a day in shot booze confession." The Daily Star reported that Holly stunned her co-hosts Keith Lemon and Fern Cotton on Celebrity Juice when Keith asked in a buzzer game, how many vodka miniatures were found in Holly Willoughby's bin. Fern replied, "It's a Thursday, I reckon 12. Holly responded, "0 because I don't drink miniatures, I drink liters." And Keith Lemon, real name Lee Francis, who raves about Holly's boozing skills, calling her Holly Willow Boozy, once giggled as he spoke about Holly to Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid on Good Morning Britain, announcing that Holly's like an old man with a brown paper bag underneath her table. She looks like an angel, but she's got the guzzler of a tramp. She's always at it. Keith then joked, "She walks round the house with a drip full of booze, she does." Piers then agreed with Keith, saying, "I do know it's true." He added, "I've drunk with Holly Willoughby. Trust me, if you have lunch with Holly, you cancel dinner. It could all be in jest, of course. But is it? In yet another booze-related interview, Holly revealed that she slipped alcohol into the Dancing on Ice final. The presenter took it upon herself to make sure that, along with Phillip Schofield, they both marked the final with a lively gin and tonic, by sneaking it into the show in her children's water bottles. Before the new series began, Holly said, "Last year we weren't allowed a wrap party, so I snuck in 2 of my kids' water bottles with their names on." And in 2019, Holly Willoughby left one show viewers in hysterics, as they jokingly accused her of being drunk following her animated TV appearance. Taking to Twitter, fans joked that she had been on the sauce. Holly was making the giddy appearance ahead of the Dancing on Ice live final. At one point, Holly was left dumbfounded by a magician, as he performed a card trick live on the one-show sofa. Thanks to her animated display, many fans took to social media through their laughter to joke that Holly must have been drunk on the show, although there is no actual evidence to suggest that was the case. One viewer tweeted, "Holly is 3 sheets to the wind tonight." A second viewer tweeted, "Oh Holly, you may have had a little too much Dutch courage, methinks." During the show, Holly also dodged a nasty wardrobe malfunction, as her dress ripped just seconds before going on air. A member of the crew was seen trying to staple the dress back together, and Holly managed to hide the blunder by perching her elbow on her lap. Holly also once revealed that she hasn't stopped drinking and suffered the worst hangover of 2020 while isolating at home with her family. The This Morning host was the first guest on Keith Lemon's new internet-only show and admitted, like the rest of the country, that the restrictions had affected her alcohol intake. Holly said she was even clock-watching until it felt the appropriate time to start on the booze. "I haven't stopped," she told him. "I literally clock-watch. I go, is it time to have an Aperol spritz yet?" She continued. "The trouble is you've got your own bottle of wine and you're sitting there doing this." Holly then mimes pouring wine. "It's not like you've got to go to the bar and get a drink or whatever." Prying for details of her wild night at home, Keith then asked if she ended up starkers on the bathroom floor. Fortunately, it didn't get to that stage, although Holly did admit, "I didn't remember getting in from my own front room. I woke up on Sunday morning and it was like the worst hangover of 2020. Also, in 2020, Phillip Schofield revealed that he got so drunk with This Morning co-star Holly Willoughby that they tried to get tattoos after one of their national television's award victories, and described Holly as a dangerous friend to have. Phillip told of a story where they thought they had stolen hand wash from prestigious restaurant Nobu. He wrote, "Holly can be a dangerous friend to have. In my old school reports, some of the teachers would write that I was easily led. In my adult life there are very few friends that I trust to lead me into mischief, but Holly is at the top of that group. We have enjoyed wonderful and outrageously drunken lunches, when, just occasionally, we had the time to let our hair down and reflect on life." The two enjoyed a particularly long lunch in the celebrity hotspot before they parted ways and went home. Feeling a bit hazy in the morning and questioning whether he'd paid the bill or not, he picked up the phone to call Holly and check. He went on to add, "Holly said, 'Check your coat for the receipt.' When I put my hand in my coat pocket, I found a full container of hand soap. I was mortified. Had I stolen it from the loos? I told Holly and she checked her bag. 'Oh, Christ, I've got one too,' she yelped. 'Oh my God, we'd robbed Nobu.' I immediately phoned them to confess." Through their laughter, the manager explained that we had both returned from the gents and the ladies loudly praising the wonderful quality and beautiful smell of the soap, so they had kindly given us both a bottle. Oh, and yes, I had paid the bill." In 2021, an article headline read, "Holly Willoughby downs bottle of champagne before heading off to homeschool 3 kids." While celebrating her 40th birthday live on This Morning, not content with the fizz in her drink, Holly picked up the bottle of champers and necked a drink from it before mischievously pouring loads of it into her cocktail glass. There was even more alcohol near the end of the show, as she and Phillip, who once said Holly had a penchant for dancing in his Technicolor Dreamcoat after a bit of wine, followed Chef James Martin's instructions on how to make alcoholic jelly, with Holly telling him, "I've got to go and homeschool my kids after this." And, just last year, in 2022, Holly Willoughby was forced to insist that she was completely sober during her appearance on the final ever episode of Celebrity Juice after she tumbled down the stairs. During the final challenge of the night, Holly took a tumble down the stairs and later Phillip Schofield laughed about the moment on This Morning, telling her that the incident had gone a little bit viral. He added, "It's something that I think has shown your competitive side to its fullest extent. This is the last ever celebrity juice." Holly replied saying she was completely sober, before explaining, "The final part of the game was if you could get this piece of cardboard from the back of the audience. I was not going to let go, even if it meant throwing myself down the stairs backwards, which is what happened." Which brings us to 2023. In June, Holly took to Instagram and posted a snap of a bottle of chilled wine next to a glass in what appeared to be her own garden, as she enjoyed soaring temperatures in the UK. She wrote, "Testing this out for our rosé demo tomorrow on This Morning. Purely for research purposes, wink face emoji. Thank you James Martin, it's delicious." And just last week, Holly Willoughby joined her sister Kelly as they partied at a wedding in Gallipoli, Turkey. The This Morning host was all smiles as she posed for fun-filled snaps with her author sister and their pals. Snaps from the lavish wedding were shared to Instagram by This Morning's celebrity chef Joseph Denison Carey, who joined Holly for the celebrations. In one group shot, Holly threw her arm around a pal's shoulders. Her sister could be seen in the corner of the group shot flashing a huge grin towards the cameras as she crouched down alongside another pal. The selfie was shared to Instagram on Monday, just one day before Holly attended the National Television Awards with her fellow This Morning co-stars. So to conclude, with no signs of Holly Willoughby's alleged drinking habits slowing down, together with the possibility she was given a warning not to make a repeat of her boozy antics at this year's NTAs, perhaps it's time for Holly to think about nipping the old partying shenanigans in the bud, before things escalate even further, for her own sake. It can happen to the best of us. We all have our vices and coping mechanisms, though we were rather shocked and concerned at the sheer amount of booze-related Holly Willoughby articles there are out there. We have only touched on a very small few in this video. And when you think about it, that's not such a good advert for her Gwyneth Paltrow Goop-style healthy lifestyle and guidance brand Wild Moon. According to Holly's official brand website, the pillars of Wild Moon are about having a true sense of self, igniting your intuition, knowing your self-worth, and notably, nourishing your body and soul. With the greatest respect, no amount of crystals and yoga mats can hide the sheer hypocrisy of that. We think we'll get our guidance from somewhere else. Please like and subscribe for more journeys through the blinker hole. For entertainment purposes only. Keep up to date with our latest investigations and hit the join button. If you like what we do, send us a super thanks. Official Blinker Hole merchandise is available in store.